For lack of anybody else, let's convene this meeting and who's taking roll? Garrett?
Yeah, I'll take roll.
Okay,
You've been hired.
that's right.
Okay, Director Fultz,
Here,
Director Smalley,
here,
Committee Member
Ken Landy
Ken Lundy,
here.
and Committee Member Bill Grace.
Here.
okay.
We don't have five.
We do. Our other public committee member is not here yet. Francis Cleveland.
Francis.
I'm hoping that she will join us at some point, but what time does the 3 o'clock meeting start?
Three.
That's right.
I'm not present.
That's right.
Okay.
And,
Not yet.
and just for point of order relative to the Brown Act, in the future, if you're going to be remote, we have to disclose it on the agenda. Right.
Okay,
Right.
thank you for that.
And so
Grace.
Bill, it's okay. It's just, we need to be formal about it to meet, yes, our antiquated and archaic California laws, but
Right.
they're the laws.
All right.
I understand.
Okay. And I will follow that, Bill. We are required to have a quorum in the room physically.
Yeah.
So, if any of us need to attend remotely for future meetings, let staff know, so that they can have a sense ahead of time of whether there's going to be sufficient bodies in the room to hold the meeting or,
BIS.
right, right. Okay.
Butts and seats.
Given that,
Do we have a quorum?
we do.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
3 out of 5, we have a quorum, Ken.
okay.
So, yes.
Okay, item 2, changes to the agenda.
None from me.
There are none from me.
Here. Oral communication. There's nobody from the public in the room. There's nobody attending remotely from the public.
All right.
Okay,
Uh,
new business,
Good business.
introductions.
Bill, why don't you go ahead?
You're the new guy.
That's right.
All right, I'm just a citizen member who volunteered for the engineering committee. And I have an interest in the engineering aspects of the water system.
Thank you.
Great.
Welcome.
Great. And am I correct? You were involved in the Felton Heights? Or
Yes,
some
I
portion
was.
of Felton
I
water system?
yes.
Okay,
I was one of several people who managed and maintained that for, I guess, 12 to 15 years.
okay, great.
Okay, well, some people know me, but for those who don't, my name is Ken Landy. I've been a resident here in Felton for 40 years now. I am a retired electromechanical engineer. Close to 50 years of experience doing all that. The last 30 years of it in management, engineering management, department management, and the last 20 years of that program management, where I was responsible for managing projects and programs with people who did not report to me. My boss called it influence management.
Always fun.
So that is most probably what I bring to the committee more than my engineering itself background. I do have some hydraulic experience because my products that I was involved in, many were water cooled, so.
I see. Okay. I'm Mark Smalley. I've been on the board for 4 years now, and have been on the engineering committee for 6.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm a California professional geologist, and have spent 20 years managing construction projects similar to a lot of the work the Water District does.
I'm Bob Foltz. I'm a director as well. Been a director for 6 years. I'm a recovering engineer. I have background, I have education in it, but I never practiced it because I don't think I was very good at it. But I've spent most of my career in tech in finance, product management, program management, cybersecurity, and the like. So slightly different skill set from everybody else here, but I do have a quantitative bent, let's put it that way. So thank you.
Um, and I do see Francis Cleveland has just joined remotely.
Yes, so my name's Francis Cleveland. I don't know if I can share. I'm in a car, but I'm not driving right now. So I'm an electrical engineer. I've been working with the power industry for 40 odd years. And in the last 20 or so, been working with distributed energy resources, particularly solar and storage batteries. And I work with California Public Utilities Commission. I also work with IEEE and internationally with the IEC to develop standards, both for distributed energy resources and for cybersecurity. So my experience with water is more limited to what I get from my house. But I have been a consultant. I'm still a consultant, and so have had to deal with people herding cats and everything else as part of my consulting work. So that's a basic introduction.
Okay, thank you, Francis. And I see that you weren't on for the initial input that we provided to Bill Grace on meeting attendance. We encourage community members to be meeting here in person. If we don't have a quorum here in person, we cannot hold the meeting by California law. If you're going to attend remotely, please let staff know ahead of time so that staff knows whether we are going to have the quorum. And also, staff needs to provide information as to where remote attendees will be located. Just part of California law.
Okay, so so you're meeting there on Highway 9 in Boulder Creek? Is that where it
We are.
physically is?
We are specifically what is called the Johnson Building, near the
Foster's Free,
Foster's Freeze, yeah, right next to Foster's Freeze.
where twisters are available anytime.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to be in Santa Cruz,
Yes.
and so I'm just driving back.
Okay. 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 So that covers introductions.
So next is election of engineering committee chair and vice chairperson for 2025.
Well, this is easy.
So staff recommends that the engineering committee review, discuss, and act on the new business items on the agenda. The background, I could read it to you, but I'm sure we've all read it. Has to be a board member.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, the chair and vice chair have to be board members for
Right.
those that are new to the committee.
Right.
And in that spirit, I nominate Mark Smalley to be the chair.
Okay. I'll accept that.
Second it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, do we have any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Director Foltz,
Yes.
Director Smalling,
Yes.
committee member Ken Londy.
I'm sorry. I missed the question.
Oh, there's a motion to make Director Smalley the chairperson of the committee.
Yes,
Yes, okay. And then should we get votes for the remote attendees?
Yes.
Bill, Committee member Bill Grace
Yes.
and committee member Francis Cleveland.
Did she
Yep.
drop?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Just coming
All
up
right.
on
Okay,
my-
motion passes unanimously.
Okay, well, with that taken care of, since the vice chair must be a board member, do we really need to go through and vote?
No.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay,
If he's not there, I'll take care of it.
Got it.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
There we go.
Okay,
Okay.
future agenda items. Is this the list that's at the back
Yeah,
or?
there's a proposed list for discussion and
Okay.
for comments.
Okay, all right. So the first two here, the CIP projects and the master plan projects. Tell us more, what is CIP first? And I don't like acronyms, because there are folks that might not know what that is that are part of the meeting. So what is CIP and what is that you're bringing to us?
So the CIP is the capital improvement projects.
Okay,
And so we have a list of projects in the 2023, 2025 budget that we're gonna have to bring to the board for approval.
right,
We are gonna be developing a new budget for 2025, 2027. A number of projects on the 2023, 2025 capital improvement project list were not completed over the last 2 years.
Mhm.
And so this is an opportunity, if we want to add any projects, we can. If we want to change priorities of projects, we can. The 2021 master plan includes a list of projects that the district could undertake to improve our system. These
Mhm.
projects, it's a separate list than from the 2023, 2025 CIP capital improvement projects
Right.
list.
right,
So we could look at the master plan projects first and then see if we want to incorporate any of those projects into the capital improvement projects. We could look at the old CIP list that we have completed a portion of the projects.
right.
So I think it would be valuable to look at both those lists.
Shouldn't we be looking at those together?
Yeah, so those would be agendized on the March 19th or the April 16th meetings. And then we'll have the actual lists and we can. go
Right,
over.
but no, my question is, instead of doing one in March and the other one in April, if the goal is here to try to build a list for our 25, 27 budget plan, and there's projects from the 2021 master plan that did not get done, and shouldn't we be talking about those first two, the CIP projects going forward and that 21 master plan in conjunction?
I mean, staff takes no exception to this proposal.
Right. So if you bring both of those
Sure.
to us at the same time with your thoughts on what we should be doing going forward, and if you had some sense of budgets for those.
I have a question. The 2021 master plan projects, the ones that are listed below, I'm presuming are on that list. That they've already been started or in plan.
So there's been some natural disasters that have unfortunately affected
I've been
the
on the
water
committee, by the way,
district.
for 6 years, so yeah.
So some of the projects were not planned. They're just disasters that we have to repair.
Okay,
The master plan is more of a hydraulic analysis of our system and understanding where hydraulically the system has deficiencies.
okay, so it doesn't include the actual projects necessarily that we have gotten stuck with, if you wish, as a result,
Yeah,
all right?
We,
These are in process, though, many of these.
many of them are in process, yes, sir.
Okay. Hmm.
So the 2021 master plan, we hired a consultant, Akel Engineering. They developed a report,
Okay.
and in the back of the report is a list of projects that totals around $75 million.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Retract my previous comment.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so my comment here is a matter of timing and money. So it typically takes us, or it seems like it takes us more than 2 years to actually do a project. And so we're really, if we start looking at projects now, and we're in 2025, and we're developing a plan for 25 to 27, budget for 25 to 27, it's very possible it may fall outside of that budget cycle. Just from a lead time point of view, all the stuff we have to go through, environmental, all the things that stop you from actually getting work done. So I guess my question here is, how is that going to work? So, and this, by the way, this is one of the reasons why I advocate for a longer time horizon for capital projects. We should be doing, in my opinion, a longer time horizon for budget in general, but at least for capital projects. So has there been any thought given to that?
yes, so in the capital improvement project list, we include the 2 fiscal years that pertain to the budget that the board of directors will pass. We include estimated for 3 additional years. So it's essentially a 5-year lookout on capital improvement projects. The estimated years are not budgeted by the board, though.
Yeah, but for the 2 years, I mean, are we actually going to finish them in that 2-year budget cycle? Or are we really going to finish maybe the design work in that 2-year budget cycle?
So looking at the previous budget in fiscal year 2023, 2024, we had budgeted around, I believe it's around $27 million in capital improvement projects. My understanding is we completed around 17 million.
Okay.
The cost of the district was 17 million of the projects we completed.
Right.
There's projects on that list that have not been completed or in progress at this time.
Yeah.
Those would be some of the higher priority projects, since we've already invested in engineering design. We've already invested in, say, surveying. We've already invested in environmental review. I have a project that the engineering design is completely ready to go. And if we want to spend, it's a FEMA project, if we want to spend $1 million with the hopes that we're going to get reimbursed, we can put that out to bid today.
Okay, so that leads into the next issue, which is when we get reimbursed. And our track record with getting reimbursed from FEMA is not great. If we're currently assuming that we're going to get paid within a year after completion of the project, right? Because we have to complete it first before they'll actually send cash, right? What does that do to our cash flow if that goes out to 3 years or 5 years? And that will also have an impact on the projects that we can do going forward. So there's sort of, I get the priority list. I think that's a good thing to work on. But hopefully the folks in finance that you're working with are thinking about cash flow requirements beyond just the 2-year budget cycle, which is more of a P&L, not cash flow. At least the way we've done it in the past has all been around P&L, not cash flow. And that they're going to start looking at that. what it also sounds like is for the next 2 years, probably a good portion of that is gonna be rollover from these 2 years. So, so that means the number of projects that would actually be new, this is where I get into the design thing, right? Is we really gonna be focusing more on design for new stuff, finishing up what's already in design next couple of years? If we can do 17 to 20 million again, in the next 2 years, that's
In a 2-year period.
that's big time thumbs up. You know,
Yeah,
my
2-year
numbers
period.
say,
Yeah.
my numbers say we should be doing a minimum of 12 million every 2 years. In order to stay current. That doesn't include catch up. Right,
Okay.
right, that we didn't invest enough in prior
Yeah.
years. So 17 million is 50% more, big thumbs up. Good work. But I think we need to make sure that when you bring that information, it does sort of reflect what's being carried over because we just couldn't finish it in 2 years because of all the
Yeah.
lead time work.
Yeah.
Where are we to that? And then what are the new projects we might be able to get done in that 2 year?
And that, I think, would be helpful for us to see. We had this in our budget in year whatever. We didn't get to it. Because if we have 8 projects that we didn't get to before, then I think that's telling us we can't have another 18 beyond it because we're never going to get to 26. So giving us that sense of
And then,
yeah,
Agreed.
and then the other part of this might be a rebalancing of staffing. So, you know, do we need to shift staff from more operational into more engineering in order to get more projects done? So historically, this district has been an operational district, not a construction district. We need to bring better balance into that. And so there's also, I think that's going to have to be looked at as well, because if we had another engineer, I'm assuming we could get more done.
but no, I will say first, where's the money?
Well-
Because right now,
Well, I
we're
get,
planning,
I-
but we don't have the money.
I get that,
Right.
but all of
Yes.
these things need to be looked at.
Agreed, yeah, staffing to be able to
Yeah.
address it is, yeah.
Because if we did have the money available and we could get more work done in a 2 year period with
Exactly.
another engineer.
Right.
Maybe there's, you know, for example, there was a head count at one point in time that was a guy that was almost dedicated to turnoffs. Well, we don't do turnoffs anymore, but that head count have been put into engineering.
Right. Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
So,
I would definitely agree that the amount of work we can complete is proportional to the amount of staff we have.
Yeah, sure.
And I think, Joel, do you have anything to add about having another engineer in the office?
Oh, yeah, he's bugging me, but I am close to becoming a professional engineer as I.
all right,
on that.
all
The
right,
last of the test set.
all right.
Good.
He's passed all the
Within
tests,
within a few weeks, I'll
so
have
he will.
an engineering license number.
Good.
Be able to
Very
stamp
good.
it.
Congratulations.
That's great,
Yes, it is. It
man.
is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
You as of today.
I do want to ask, both Bill and Francis, since, staff have heard from the 3 of us sitting here in the room. And first we'll, go to Bill. For any general comment on this list that's in front of us.
My only input would be, I'd like to see the list for all of the things you desired as soon as possible. If that could be emailed to us, that would be great.
Okay.
You know,
Bill, I would, you can go to our website and if you look up the 2023-2025 budget, there contains a table. And that has the majority of the projects. Now, what I can do, Bill, is I can indicate which projects we've completed. So that way you can see the ones we've done and the ones that we still need to do.
okay, that'd be great.
And then also the 2021 master plan is available on our website as well.
Could you send them links?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can send links.
Send links.
I was gonna add,
Thanks for that.
those would also be as like agenda items that were attached for this upcoming committee meeting. that we're
Right.
discussing.
Yeah,
Right.
so we'll prepare a memo and that'll include updated information indicating, maybe a couple of the pipelines were combined into one project that we gave to one contractor to complete. Some of the items on the list are gonna be operational items, like they wanna buy a new dump truck or different things. Maybe treatment has a couple items that they need,
Need a new pump or something like that.
which are not directly related to engineering. So, but yes, we'll definitely provide additional information.
Good.
Francis? Francis, any comment at this point? Hearing none.
Yeah, sorry. I've been trying to drive back, so I had to
Yeah.
pull over. No, I second the idea that I don't think I got enough information to really prepare for this meeting. So I would really
Great.
appreciate getting links, the right links, because I looked at the other meeting minutes and there really wasn't very much in it. So I really didn't know where to go to next.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Okay. And for Bill and Francis, past meetings, there has been more extensive information presented to the committee members for us to review, including at times a contract from vendors for staff to be able to get input on, here are 3 different vendors that we're looking at. Here's how we've evaluated them. Give us your input. Or here's a project that we are looking at, and we can go one of 2 or 3 different routes in this, but we need public input. This is a place for staff to get public input, but also input from 2 board members, since we are not a quorum from the board, but getting initial input from board members so that they may change some aspect of something that they're going to be proposing to the board in subsequent months. And I just want to clarify for Garrett, what I was saying about the master plan, scratch that for this next meeting. I
Okay.
was confused because I saw 2021, and I don't know why, but I was seeing 2021 CIP projects in that, incorrectly reading into it. And I thought that's what you were going to talk about. The master plan, I agree. That's a completely separate discussion.
Yeah.
Because that is so massive. And before that meeting, yes, we will get an agenda. Generally, the Friday before these get sent out. This didn't get sent to everybody. It just got posted on the website.
In a place that we didn't know where to look.
Exactly. So, so it didn't get sent to the committee members,
Oh,
this one.
okay.
Normally, somebody like Jen would send out the agenda.
And it was my
a number of
understanding
days
Jen was out, so it didn't get sent out.
Okay.
Okay, so, okay. With that then,
May I comment on the list?
sure,
Okay.
that's what I was gonna ask. Any
All right.
comments on other?
Other than the 2 top items, the rest, I believe, all look familiar to me, are things that we have in progress. Or should have been in progress.
Agreed.
So I am a little concerned when I see that we're not gonna talk about them to as far out as December on certain ones. What we were doing, as was mentioned in the past, is engineering would present a very brief summary of the various projects that were going on and had actually started generating Gantt charts to show us where they were against where they were supposed to be. And that can reduce the amount of discussion very quickly. if you can see it as a chart, well, these are the 5 steps for this project. We've done the first 2 where this one's delayed, it's not gonna happen till, and it's all on a little chart. And there's, yes, there's a considerable amount of work to generate the charts the first time. But updating them after that, I've done this before, is quite simple. And that way we can see them as a committee, rather than waiting, come on back, rather than waiting to look at something that may be going on right now, but isn't gonna be talked about until October or November. In which case, it may be too late. You follow me?
I do follow you. So I would say that the CIP priority projects will include all the projects that are included in this list. We can include additional projects if there's a particular project you're interested in. Or if there's additional topic you're interested in, like district standards or something like that.
Yeah, if the list were provided as to what the projects are, then the committee can say, hey, these 5 are down the bottom of the list, not to worry about. And these 4 or 5 are really important to us as a committee, not as an individual. Okay, but if we don't have the list,
Right.
then we don't know.
And I think Ken's point could be addressed by similar to the summary that you provide to the board on engineering projects.
Oh, yeah.
Is that monthly or is that quarterly
It's-
that we're getting that?
Currently it's quarterly.
Currently, it's quarterly. Okay.
Yeah.
If you had that list,
Sure.
that covers a lot of the projects that are on here, right?
Yes.
So if you provided that descriptive, and it's all of maybe 2 or 3 sentences that you're putting into those summaries, and I'm saying that for the other committee members who haven't seen this before.
Sure.
That would give the committee just a sense of here's other projects. And similar to the way we're doing it now at the board meetings, here's the list of projects. If there's some 1 or 2 on here that you want to talk about, board members, just ask questions. But we're not going to go through every one of the 12 that are on there.
Okay.
We'd be here for a week.
And we try to limit these to an hour, so we don't have that. I would not advocate for the bar charts that Ken is describing. To me, I think that that's a lot of work for staff. That yes, it's going to take a lot to set it up, but then tracking it is a lot for them also. And
They have
And
to
they're-
track it anyway.
are you doing anything like that now?
We're doing our best to complete as many projects as fast as we can.
We're
You
not
didn't
showing it
ask-
visually.
Exactly. They don't have the visual, so they're not.
Certainly
yeah,
possible, but
yeah.
not something we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the agenda, background, the engineering committee shall be responsible for the review matters of design, construction, replace,
Right.
and repair, blah, blah, blah. All right, and that means also giving feedback
Mhm.
to engineering on what the committee thinks might be
I agree. Yes.
appropriate. Okay, so we do need more information. I like Gantt charts. Maybe they're too much effort. I don't know. I was lucky I had the time to do it when I had to do it.
I'm sorry, Ken, you're saying you have time?
I had the time.
Oh, okay. I
No.
thought Ken might be volunteering for something.
I did not
hear half.
When
Oh,
I
okay.
needed, when I was doing program
Okay.
management, I had
Okay.
the time to do it.
Yeah,
I have
I
a
know,
lot of
Bob.
things
That's
on
what I
my
heard
plate
too,
other than
but-
just this committee.
Okay, all right.
We have our other member, I think.
Oh, yes, there we are. For me, one of the big bugaboos, well, there's a couple things on here. So Lion Access Road, that's from 2017.
Phone's still on.
Francis,
You
your
need to
phone is
cut your
still
phone.
on. You need to.
We need to kill it.
Otherwise, we're gonna get feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Or you have to go back outside.
One or the other.
Okay. Well, we're still on.
Sorry.
Better? Okay, so the Lion Access Road is from 2017, January 2017, the big rainstorm.
Correct.
And that's one of those that's been out there for a long time. It
Correct.
is supposedly a FEMA project, but it's big money. And if FEMA is not gonna pay for X number of years, we need to think about that. The DWR tank replacement, we've already have that program. Right?
So the DWR tank replacement, we're in engineering design.
I understand that, but from a scope point of view, we've already halved it. We're gonna do what, 3 or 4 tanks instead of 6,
Reduced it.
right?
We'll see what the bids come in at. We're gonna do as many as we can with the money we have.
I get that,
But not six,
but we're not gonna do 6. It's pretty clear.
but not six.
Possibly.
Tank recoatings is something that is a serious strategic issue for us,
Yes.
as well as tactical.
Yeah.
Those tanks are all anywhere from 5 to 10 years beyond their recommended maintenance life for coating. Except for the probation and a couple other new tanks. All the rest of them are from the 90s, never been maintained at all. This is a serious issue. I don't think we're gonna be able to get grant funding for that. Maintenance usually isn't a grant thing. They expect you're gonna maintain them, and all those tanks were probably put in with FEMA money back when FEMA actually operated well in the wake of disasters. So we got a big problem there, and this just keeps moving into the future. We got to put a stake in the ground and start getting these things done. But I don't recommend doing them all in the same year, because then all you do is push that into a pig in the python 20 years from now. So we need to get into, 3 or 4 a year routinely every year. On the P-vine pipe, my main concern is there any ability to harden that at all?
There is an ability to harden it, yes.
The rest of them, Brackenbray, I expect I want to get at least the Brackenbray consolidation done well before that. That's the goal. Maybe it'll take that long, I don't know. And then on the pipeline, the 5-mile raw water pipeline, is that a realistic project to be completed with it by 2027, do we think?
Yeah.
Not P-vine, 5 mile. No, okay, no. I think, if it weren't,
Why talk about it?
well, something like that.
Okay.
If it weren't for the fact that 20% of our, 20% of our raw water came from Clear Creek. Yeah.
We can talk about it next year.
We can talk about it next year. I agree
Or
with that.
2027 or-
Yeah.
Okay, so take
Yeah.
5 mile off.
The other advantage by having that out at some level is we continue to operate on emergency, and we can operate the district as a unified whole and not by 3 separate systems. So,
I would also say we could leave some of the months blank and fill them in at a later date. If it's
and-
too ambitious
and-
to plan the whole year.
And if one of these projects that you have slated for late in the year, you see that we need to be talking about that sooner,
yeah,
put
bring
it
it up.
on sooner.
Yeah.
Don't be married to this
Sure.
as a list. And to one of Bob's points, the tank recoatings.
Yeah.
That I've asked John to include in the budget discussion
Right.
that we're gonna have coming up. My recommendation is move that up into the early on discussions. Because I want to get, I want engineering staff to get this committee's input on those tank recoatings and give us a sense of how many tanks are there? How long have they been outstanding? When should they have been recoated?
Oh, I
What's-
have a table that can tell you all that.
What's, I want it.
I got it from
them, and what's the typical cost for one of these 3? So, yeah, but that's the kind of stuff I'd like to have you bring to the committee. And since, from my perspective, that's part of our budget setting process, that should be either somehow linked in with the CIP project priorities. Oh, okay.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we establish the priorities, that will establish the 8 projects that we can actually do in the next 2
Right,
years.
right.
So
But-
paint recoating.
But if we're talking about tank recoatings in August,
You're not working on it till 2026.
Well, I imagine these topics, this would be a deep dive into this one project.
Oh, okay, okay. As long as we're.
The
as long as we're
CIP
talking about-
priority would be a district-wide approach to
right.
all the projects we're facing and the projects that we feel are the most important, the priority.
Right.
That
Right.
we are gonna focus on
Right.
and
Okay.
get done in the next
Yeah,
2
then
years.
if we are talking about doing some tank recoatings as part of the 25-27 budget, okay. Okay,
I did have one question in that though.
Sure.
At what point in time is the tank so deteriorated that it has to be replaced versus recoated versus rehabilitated and recoated? Is there a crossover point?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure
Okay,
there is, because
so,
once the steel gets to be a point
yeah,
of near failure, then what good does it do to put polymer on the inside of it to recoat it? But that's the kind of stuff we want you to.
I've had discussions with a tank manufacturing company. And they
Yeah.
offer a service where they rehabilitate an existing tank by dismantling it,
oh my God.
shipping the parts back to the factory for recoating. If a piece is so far gone, then you get a new piece and they reassemble it.
So, and I'm sure you got a cost from them for that, right?
Well, it's obviously it's tank specific because the different size
Well,
tanks,
Get a cost for one tank for us then.
they have examples of projects they've done at a different water district that they've shared with me.
Right,
How
right.
much?
We're talking on the order of 300,000-400,000.
It may not be. as-
Because the foundation's done, the piping's
Yeah,
done,
yeah, yeah.
all you're doing is taking up you would be surprised the number of bolts on one of these tanks.
No, I
They're
wouldn't be
every
surprised.
2 inches,
No, I wouldn't.
you got another bolt.
Yeah.
So they take out hundreds of bolts
Yeah,
and then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
comes apart
okay.
into pieces
So-
like an erector set.
so
I get it.
again, that's an option for us.
You basically get a new tank.
Well, but that's an option for us. But bring that kind of information to the discussion where we're talking about tank recoatings.
Of course.
Yeah,
Because some of the tanks are more than 10 years out.
but to Bob's question of when does it cross over that point of it makes no sense to recoat this? Go out and do some research in the literature.
There's a very old engineering rule. If the cost of repair exceeds 50% of the cost of the new one,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't do it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So my other question is, compared to the number you just threw out,
Yeah.
what does a new tank cost?
Uh,
All right, that number is only 10% of a new tank, that's one story. If it's 60% of a new tank, then you gotta decide, is it worth doing other than
So-
replacing it?
It sounds like this committee is gonna make you go do your homework.
Sounds good.
That's what we should be doing.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I just?
Can
briefly
you
touch-
sell old tanks that may be not completely falling apart, but
uh,
at least recoup some of it?
we're selling redwood.
Yeah, the red one. Ones are valuable. I'm not sure about the bolted steel.
I don't know.
Just briefly, a number of years ago, the district was able to get, quote, free labor from the high school. Okay, there's some very good technical programs going on and computer-oriented programs at San Lorenzo Valley High. I was involved in one of them for many years. And for some of this charting, as we were talking about, these grant charts and stuff, Gantt charts and stuff like that, I don't know if it would work or not. It's possible that some of the students could be, with instructor guidance, could provide the charting and the original labor if just given the information. I don't know if that would be practical or not, but it might be something to look at. There's some very good programs going on at San Lorenzo Valley High. People don't realize it.
And thanks for the tip.
Yeah,
Okay.
I only know one of the instructors, teachers, well, his name is David Grant. So he's not necessarily involved in the computer end of it. He's more involved in the hardware and the physics and engineering end.
Okay. Okay.
But he could definitely feed the information to the right person.
Okay,
It's a thought.
right. So for the agenda plan that's in front of us, since you don't have a hard copy,
Okay.
oh, either way, okay,
Well,
if
yeah,
you're seeing that.
If you
I
can
can,
read
I
that,
can see it.
because I have it in front of me here also.
Okay.
Any other comments, or are we wrapping up on this item? Bill? I'll ask you.
No other comments.
Okay, okay, Bob?
I'm looking on your website, looking at the projects right now, so.
Okay, great.
Great, good. Francis?
I just need to get more details before I could make any kind of assessment.
Understand, yeah. Okay, Ken? You good?
Other than tracking the projects
Okay,
tends to help them move forward.
Yeah.
All right, being in that position for many years, when you don't track them, they slide,
Okay,
because you missed the little detail that you needed to know.
understood.
then if we're concluded on this, I do want to ask a question, but we can't discuss it since it's not on the agenda. Do we understand each other? Okay.
Yes.
The district is undertaking a project to put new pipeline in to Bracken Brae Four Springs. Part of it is undercrossing a bridge on Highway 236. And recently, the district has asked our engineering firm to evaluate whether we can hang that pipe off of the bridge.
Specifically, hang both a 4-inch and a 12-inch at the same time.
Off the bridge, right. So with that, public members have asked me, well, they had a meeting last week, didn't they? What's the outcome of it?
That would be yes or no.
So did you meet with the engineers?
Yeah,
And what did they tell you?
the preliminary results are favorable that the bridges have adequate capacity to support
Yay,
the new.
yay.
Both
Okay,
the 4-inch and the 12-inch.
Yes,
okay, yeah, because they both have to be full at the same time. Yeah, okay. When do they think they will have the final report?
final report. I don't have a date.
Up, 2 months, 6 months?
No discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Okay, thank you. It looks favorable. We will leave it at that. Okay. All right. Previous committee members, oh, okay. Francis, in this, there is a link for previous minutes that you could see.
I looked at the previous minutes and most of them said we had a meeting and then we go see something else and then we left. You know?
Okay, point taken. Yes, I agree.
There was a gap.
Okay, given that, I think we can adjourn. Okay, all right. We do have the next meeting scheduled. I'm assuming 3/19. It's exactly right. 3/19.
I'm looking at the list here.
You got it.
And now can write all those schedules down. I
Right.
don't have to look them up for when the third one is.
Right. Okay, all right. Meeting's adjourned.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Bye-bye.